Hey everybody, it's your old pal Chuck, and I am excited to bring to you today another review. Finally, I can finish off the Wave 1 2016 Legion class figures by presenting to you Windblade from the Transformers Robots in Disguise line. We've looked at Thunderhoof, we've looked at Clampdown, we've looked at Drift. For whatever reason, Windblade has been rather difficult to find. We'll get into that at the end, but here it is, right here. And full disclosure right up front, this isn't going to be another Prime Legion Cliff Jumper. But it's not that bad. And I gotta tell you, as you can see, it's a lot more stable than the Generations Deluxe class figure. So, just starting this off, for articulation, now I usually don't talk about it, but with these Legion figures, it's a ball joint at the hips, a less than 90-degree swivel here at the knees. You can work it, but it's really not a lot there going on. For the arms are a little strange. And right there you see a little bit of the issue with I have with like using a lot of ball joints. The leg just swiveled out just from holding it. But the arms here, and I guess you can say this whole wing section is the shoulder, but it's a ball joint. So it can go up, you can have some side-to-side wiggle, it can rotate, but there's no elbow. And then really, for in terms of shoulders, you know, if you want to swing it out a little, that's about it. Really, that's on a fixed hinge. That's more for transformation and just wants to like stay in place. Other than that, that's about it. You might notice some holes in the wings. We'll get into that with vehicle mode and transformation, which we'll look at right now. Okay, transformation is actually, I would say, the easiest of any Legion or Legends figure, you know, when they were this size, that I've seen. First, what you want to do is come in and peg the legs together. And in doing so, you want to make sure that the tail fin here sandwiches together as well, because there's a tab and slot there. And you just want to bring it all together. Make sure that for the hips are straight and all that, it's all lined up properly. Bring the arms back down to a neutral pose. And then what you want to do is swing the arms down on that hinge we talked about in the shoulder. There's a tab on the inside of the arm right there. Little tab that will peg into a slot at the top of the hip. And then finally, what you want to go ahead and do, you have the nose cone here, flip it up and over, it's on a double hinge. The head will fit in quite nicely. And then you just want to go straighten out, make sure the legs are straight because the knees might bend. And there you have Windblade in its vehicle mode. And, you know, it's a simple transformation, but the jet mode is a lot more stable than what the deluxe class version is. And I know usually you really shouldn't compare deluxe to Legion, but when a Legion figure can give you a solid jet mode, which reminds me that I really can't remember the last time we had a jet figure this small. I mean, the closest I can think of are the Seekers, but those were like Legends class, not Legion. You know, so but if you want to, because since they're all the same size, you want to group them in, you have that there. But you know, it is kind of fun. Unfortunately, the vents here for the VTOL don't rotate around, but as you may have noticed, the fans are painted in. I would say on both sides, but on this wing, you have the sticker there. Now, the holes in the wing, those are very interesting to me. And if you notice holes in the hands, I'm thinking at some point in the design process, Windblade was going to come with the swords, or a sword, or two swords. I mean, the packaging shows it coming with two swords. And I think for whatever reason, it was just dropped. Because if you remember in Prime, one of the things that made the Legends figures, Legion figures, so great were those little clear, soft plastic rubber weapons that you could plug together and combine and have some real fun with. And for whatever reason, for Robots in Disguise, that was discontinued. But that's really the only thing I can think about those pegs being used for, unless there's something coming down the line that I don't know about yet that will better explain it. I've never been a big fan of Windblade. I know some of you, it's like, oh, hearsay, but I didn't like the concept of how the character was created. I really, from what I've read of the character, I'm not a fan. In the cartoon, and it was just like it was shoehorned in. It's just, but this is a cool figure. But I'll be honest, there's a lot better Legion figures that have been released. Thunderhoof, Clampdown, Drift, Bumblebee, Sideswipe, um, even Grimlock. They're a little bit more involved in the transformation, have a little bit more articulation. Even if they just gave it a permanent bent elbow, I would have liked that a little bit more, just so the arms looked a little more expressive. Um, One thing I was kind of glad about is they did not go ahead and do the really painted on face here. Here, let me bring it in here for you. Um, I've never liked that Kabuki look. It looks horrible, and unless you have a perfect figure, it just doesn't look right. They did mold in like this little smirk, which just doesn't really look good, but it's small enough you really don't notice. Um, Now, like I said at the beginning, this figure has been incredibly hard to find. And that really surprised me since uh, there's always been from the fans more of a demand for the Decepticons and things of that nature. But I have never seen Legion Windblade available until I found it on Hasbro Toy Shop. Amazon was only selling it by third-party sellers who wanted $25 to $30 for it. Big Bad only had it as part of uh, either a set or a case for the wave. And other than that, those are really the only retailers. I hadn't seen it on eBay. I saw it early on, but again, it was going for a premium, and I had wanted Thunderhoof and Drift and Clampdown before that. So if you can find this figure, and if you're a fan, pay no more than retail price. Don't pay into like the upcharges and surcharges. This is not a $25 figure. This is not a $30 figure. Even if we find out tomorrow that Windblade has been canceled and will never be released, it's not a $30 figure. It's just not worth it. Don't pay into the hype. This is your old pal Chuck for Windblade. We will see you next time.